So looking at number 1, Delaney, we have 4 to the power of 0. What would that be?
1.
Awesome, 1. Anything to the power of 0 is just 1. I'm going to go through and do the odd ones, and then if we have time, I'll go back and do the even ones too. So let's take a look at 3. So in your answer, you always need your exponents to be positive. So how would I change the exponent of -1 to be positive? Perfect. Anything with a negative exponent, we move it to the bottom. So everything that has a positive exponent, we leave on top. So 4n to the 3rd power would stay on top. And m to the power of -1 goes to the bottom, and we change it to be positive.
Can it just be m if you want?
That was going to be my next question. Do we need the 1 there if it's just an exponent of 1? Nope. So it would be 4n to the 3rd power over m. All right, yes.
How do you get m on the bottom?
What do we do to make the exponent positive?
Move it.
Right. So we moved it to the bottom.
And you bring the other thing up?
Everything else stays on top.
Why isn't it negative?
Because when you move it, you change it to be positive. So if I had something like x to the power of -2, we'd move it to the bottom to make it positive, so I'd make it 1 over x to the power of 2. So the thing with the exponent moves, and it changes to be positive. The exponent changes to be positive. All right, let's look at 5. All right, so we can simplify a little bit here. What would you want to do first?
X and 0.
X to the power of 0 would be what? 1. So we can get rid of that. Goes away. What else can we do?
You can cancel the y's.
The y's. When we're dividing, how would we combine those together?
Add it. Subtract it.
Subtract it. So we subtract. It's always the top minus the bottom. So 3 minus 2 would be what? 1. So we have 4 times x to the power of -3 times y to the power of 1.
Wait, it's 3 minus 2.
Yeah, it's always the top minus the bottom. So we take the exponent on the top and subtract the exponent from the bottom. And then it stays on top. Unless it's negative, we would move it back down. We don't like negative exponents in our answer, so what would I do next?
You put it in a fraction.
What's going to go in the bottom of our fraction? X to the power of, it turns to positive 3 now. What stays on top of our fraction?
The 4y.
4 and y. Perfect. So 4y over x to the power of 3. So anything that had a negative exponent, we had to move it to the bottom and make it positive. All right, 7. What do you want to do first for 7?
Move it to 2 and 1.
So we can move the negative ones. That works. So we're going to move the m to the power of 2 up top. So we have m on top, and now we have m to the 2nd power on top, because when we move it, it becomes positive. And then I'm also going to move n to the power of -1 to the bottom to make it positive. So on the bottom, we have n to the power of positive 1 now, times n to the 2nd power, and 3 on the bottom.
Now you do the 2 m's.
How would I combine them together? When I multiply, what do I do with the exponents?
Just
Add them. So what's the exponent on that first m? 1. Perfect. So on top, what are we going to have?
3.
M to the power of 3. Awesome. The 3 stays on the bottom, and we're going to do the same thing with the n's on the bottom. If we're multiplying, what do we do to combine them? Add the exponents. So what's 1 plus 2? 3. So we have m to the 3rd power over 3 times n to the 3rd power. Any questions here? Let's do 9. What do you want to do first for 9?
The 0.
P to the power 0 goes away. And it's just the P that has the power 0. So just the P gets canceled out. Or it turns into 1, but 1 times 2m to the 4th power q to the negative 4th power stays the same. What do we want to do next?
Bring the 4 down.
Q to the power of negative 4, we want to bring it to our denominator and change the exponent to be positive. So it'd be q to the power of 4 in the denominator. What stays on top?
2 and 4.
Awesome. 2m to the 4th power. If you multiply it times 1, it's the same thing. So you don't need that times 1 there. So that would be our answer. Questions? All right, let's look at 11. What should we do first for 11? M to the power of negative 2, we want to change it to be a positive exponent, so we move it to the bottom. So we have m to the power of 2 on the bottom. What's on the top? 2 and n squared. Questions? All right, 13. What do you want to do for 13? Move the x to the bottom and change it to be positive. So x to the power of 1. Do I need the exponent of 1 there? No. If it has a power of 1, you can get rid of the 1. And what would I do with the y? Keep it on top. So just the one with the negative exponent goes to the bottom. Questions here? Let's do number 12. We have 3 to the power of negative 4. What should we do first here? Bring the 3 to the bottom. So we have 1 over 3 to the power of 4. And now let's figure out what 3 to the power of 4 is. We have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What's 3 times 3? 9. And 3 times 3 would be 9. And 9 times 9? 81. So what would our answer here be? 1 over 81. Awesome. You have to move the 3 to the 4th power to the bottom, 3 to the negative 4th power to the bottom, before you can actually evaluate it. You want it to be a positive exponent before you multiply it out. Let's also do 10. What should we do first for 10? Combine the x's. When we're dividing, how would we combine the x's? Subtract. So be super careful when subtracting here. Remember, it's always top minus the bottom. So it'd be 4 minus negative 4. What's 4 minus negative 4? 8. Perfect. So we have 2 times x to the power of 8 on top. What do you want to do next? Combine the y's. How do we combine the y's when we're dividing? Subtract. So it'd be 3 minus 2. What's 3 minus 2? 1. So it'd be y to the power of 1 on top. When you do the top minus bottom, it stays on top. Do we need the exponent of 1? Nope. So we can get rid of that. And then are we missing anything else? The 3 on the bottom. 3 had to stay on the bottom. All right, let's look at 15. What should we do first? Bring the m squared to the bottom. Perfect. Let me change it to be a positive 2. What do we do with the 3n? It stays on top. Questions here? All right, 17. What is 4 to the 2nd power? 16. Awesome. That's like saying 4 times 4, which would be 16. right, 19. What should we do here? Bring the n to the power of negative 2 down and change it to be a positive 2. So n squared on the bottom. What stays on top? 2m squared. (21). What is 2 to the third power? 8. Awesome. It's like saying 2 times 2 times 2. And 2 times 2 would be 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power is 8. Any questions here? All right, 23. What should we do first? Bring the v down. Anything with the negative exponent moves to the bottom. So v to the power of 3, and what stays on top? 2u to the power of 3. Questions here? 25. What is negative 2 to the power of 0? 1. 27. What do you want to do first? Bring the b to the power of negative 1 down. So 4a to the third power stays on top. And then b to the power of 1 would go on the bottom. Do I need to write the exponent of 1? Nope. When it's just 1, we don't write it. So it'd just be b on the bottom. Questions here? All right, 29. What do you want to do first? Cancel the x to the power of 0 out. That turns into 1. And 3 times 1 would just be 3. So we can get rid of it. What do you want to do next?
Like put the y to the power of negative 2 on the bottom.
Awesome. We move the y to the bottom and change it to be a positive 2 as the exponent. And what stays on top? 3. Perfect. All right, let's look at 16. What do you want to do first for 16?
The b's.
We can add the b's, or we'd subtract them here since we're dividing. But what's b to the power of 0? B to the power of 0. 1. It goes away. So now we just have 4b to the power of 2 over 2a to the power of 2. Do I have any other variables that I can combine? Any a's that get combined or b's that get combined together? No, we've only got one of each, so we're good there. But we can combine the numbers. What's 4 divided by 2? 2. So 2 would stay on top. So 2 times b squared over a squared. And that would be our answer. So if you have a number on top and a number on the bottom, you can divide them together. This is like saying 4 over 2, which simplifies to 2. Questions? This was a good one. Let's look at 30. What do you want to do first for 30? Cancel the v out. It turns into 1, so it goes away. What do you want to do next? So the u to the power of negative 1 goes to the bottom, and it's just the u that has that exponent that's negative, so that's going to go to the bottom. So we have u to the power of 1, which the exponent of 1 would go away. But what do I do with that negative? Doesn't go away. The negative out front. It just stays up top as negative 1. So the negative didn't have an exponent, so it just stays where it's at. But the u had a negative exponent, so we had to move that to the bottom, and just the exponent changes to be positive. So that would be our answer.